What up, what up, what up? It's Mr. 6'8" back with another video coming at you live, and I want to talk about a couple of things today. Get something off my chest real quick. Be sure to hit like, share, subscribe, comment, you know the deal. All of that good stuff. Alright, y'all, so I ain't gonna hold y'all long real quick because I got stuff to do, I got work to do, I got some cleaning up to do, but I figured since I'm dressed and put together and everything, and I currently had a previous engagement that somebody decided to stand my ass up and then let me down, Chi Chi, gonna watch the video on live. Thought I was gonna have me some good old church service today, but clearly that ain't happening. So with that being said, I said, well, let me just get on my own channel and sit and go and chit chat with y'all for a couple of minutes. So anyways, yesterday, there was some interesting dialogue that was had between a couple of people in the LGBTQ, ABCDEFG community, HIMLMNOP, all of that good stuff. And there was a lot of back and forth with using gay terminology and gay lingo as it pertains to as far as with our community. So apparently I was on this live with a good person that I've just met as far as in person on virtually, recently with the whole COVID-19 situation, all that going on. And we got to talking about using terminologies as far as, correct terminologies and pronunciations as far as it pertains to identifying cisgender heterosexual women and trans women. And apparently it was offensive to some people in the comments, particularly cisgender heterosexual women, to be called fish. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar or may not have a good Judy in their life as far as to understand what all the lingo means, let me break it down for you. So let's start with the word fish. So when you think about a fish, you think about seafood smell, you think about just like the ocean, the water. But in the gay community, that's not quite what we are referring to when we say, girl, now you know good time well, she was not giving you fish, honey. She was giving you more like a brick. So in the gay community, we consider fish to be a compliment. Basically, fish is to be considered when we call somebody, just say, whether it's our trans sisters who may be more feminine, have feminine features such as like the lips, the puckering of the lips like Kylie Jenner, the whole fullness of the lips, the cheekbones, just the way they act, as far as the femininity overall, like giving you real like, cunt realness, as I call it, which is another word that, I sometimes, use to describe as far as like when, somebody in the gay community is giving you like full on like woman, like grown woman, like, grown woman. But yeah, so with that being said, in the gay community, that's pretty much what we consider fish to be. Fish is considered to be a compliment that we give, particularly whether it's a real feminine, man, born a man, or whether it's a trans woman who lives, her life as a full-time, as far as female overall. They're basically giving you a full-on woman, like everywhere, like the whole personality, like they're giving you realness, like as far as like female realness. Like when we say female realness, like a cis heterosexual, that means unclockable. That means you can't tell whether they were born a woman or whether they were not born a woman. So that's what we mean when someone says, "Ooh, she giving up fish, she's serving fish realness." So honey, let me tell you what fish did today. Now when somebody makes that statement, in just general, let me tell you what fish did today, they may not particularly be referring to a transgender woman. They could be referring to a cis heterosexual woman, meaning a biologically born woman, meaning that let me tell you what fish did today. In other words, let me tell you what this woman did today, meaning that they are referring to an actual biologically born woman, because that woman is what the representation of as far as female. And I feel like where the misconception comes in at is that people think that when someone says, let me tell you what fish did today, as far as referring to that biologically born woman as a fish, it comes across as, oh, you must trying to say that I smell like fish or seafood. That ain't what we trying to say. That's not what it is. What it is that what we are saying that, let me tell you what this actual woman did today. So see, if you really understand, it's all about how you put it into context. Like, it's all about how you are using it. So with that being said, when we say fish, the whole fish thing, if you look at an actual fish, you see how the fish has like fish face, like the puckering, it's like their face, like their lips, an actual, like, just say like a catfish, for example. I know this may be a bad example, but a catfish, like the puckering of the lips, like the way the actual face is of a fish. If you look at it, if you really think about it, it really kind of gives you femininity, because when we think of a male, we don't think of full lips, stuff like that. Like, we're not thinking about all of that, full out cheekbones. Like, we're not thinking about face realness. When we think about fish, we're thinking about the puckering of the lips, the whole, as far as like, the overall, lines in the cheek structure, the eyes, we're thinking about the overall as far as full-on face feature. And like I said, a lot of people I had noticed in the comments yesterday when I was on this live, it just seemed like a lot of the heterosexual, biologically, genetically born women were taking offense to being referred to as fish, because they felt like that was an insult as far as to how they smell. And that is not at all what, as far as what it was trying to refer to, or what was being thrown as far as the shade that was, as far as what they felt like the shade was being thrown. It was no shade at all. It was actually a compliment. So women out there, I know that, this may still come off as confusing towards you, but if somebody ever refers to you, if you're ever, with your good Judy, and they with some other gays, and they say, ooh, honey, you are giving fish realness, honey. Yes, look at fish walk through the building in 6-inch heels. They're not saying that your shit stink. They're just saying that, look, we are actually acknowledging that you are giving us grown woman, as I call it, grown. Do it with me one time. Grown woman. So just know, my only, purpose for this video is that I just want to get it across that fish is not to be taken. Honey, I'm spending everything. Fish is not to be taken as an offensive term as far as with a female. So please, ladies, please do not be offended whenever us in the gay community, as far as, are talking amongst one another and we say, ooh, fish this and fish that, because trust me, that is an actual compliment. That's just how the lingo is as far as amongst us gays, as far as like people that identify themselves as part of the LGBT community. When I say that, because I identify myself as being bisexual, but I still fall in that line, a part of the alphabet. So I just thought I would give you a breakdown. Now, moving right along, next topic I want to talk about, trade. So trade and DL. So it was brought also to my attention as I was reading some of these comments yesterday, with the confusion on as far as trade being, what is trade? Well, let me just break it down to you. So trade actually is what I consider to be coming from a small town where there's not really like a lot going on. The gay thing is not really like, as far as open, people don't really talk about it. It's more like kept on the down low. I feel like it kind of originated from, as far as being on the down low, but it's kind of a middle, I don't know how, it's more like, I wouldn't really call, you can call trade down low, but trade kind of has their own category, because the difference between a down low man and somebody that you are going to refer to as trade, when you think about trade, you're thinking about exchanging one thing for the other. So that's why a lot of times in the trans community, it is well known that the girls, as we call them, and when we say the girls, we're referring to trans women, will sometimes, talk about trade a lot, and what they are referring to is that they will meet men who have a fascination with their anatomy as as their what they see from their eyes as a woman. They're curious as to what's underneath their clothes, and because of that, it's more like a thing of they are actually wanting to discuss on having a conversation with one of these trans girls and kind of get to know them, and to kind of hoping that maybe they can perhaps pay them money if that's the kind of thing, if that's what the exchange is about, in exchange for money for sex, and they don't necessarily have to be, as far as a gay man. Trade can be a straight man, but just have some kind of weird fetish or weird fascination going on with wanting to know what a trans girl is giving or what a trans man is giving. So I mean, when you think about trade, in my mind, my breakdown of trade is kind of defined as a man who has a fascination, or a man that has, and it doesn't even, let's just make it a more broadened kind of thing. It don't even have to be with the trans women. It can be with a gay man as well. As crazy as that sound, but you would probably catch it more with a feminine gay man than you would an actual manly man, as far as when it comes to trade. So my definition of trade would be somebody that has a fascination with another person, whether it's as far as the same sex anatomy, or whether it's with a trans woman who has probably had, sexual SRS reassignment surgery done. Somebody that has a fascination or a fetish, somebody that has in exchange a fascination or take interest into something with a person and wants to become curious. They're becoming curious to get to know what that person could show them as far as experience. Like there's something that is intriguing that they find about this other person that they're going after. And a lot of times the whole terminology trade comes from because there's an exchange going on, meaning that, hey, I may like you, or I may want to pay you to do X, Y, and Z to me, slap me on my ass, dress me up in women clothes, tie me to the bed, some weird freaky shit. Like we don't never know like what these people are thinking. That's why I can personally never date somebody that would be as far as of that caliber, because I feel like their intentions they're not genuine. Now with a down low man, when you think about an actual down low man, a down low man is more of a man that just lives their life on a down low. They're discreet. They're not in the open yet. They're kind of in that phase of where they don't want nobody in their business. They want to keep whatever they got going on the low, and that's what it is. So they are pretty much living their life as a gay man, just not out in the open. So that's why when people say trade and down low, I feel like you're talking about two different men of two different calibers, because one, with the trade, you kind of have more of a, well, I'm interested in this person because I have a fascination of something that they have that I want to see or that I want to experience. With down low, it's already an acknowledgement that they are gay and that this is what they like, but they just don't feel comfortable with coming out in the open because they either want to be discreet, they either have, like these huge major titles in their public life that they can't be out in the open. They either have families already, like you don't never know. And with trade, even with trade man could have a whole wife and kids at home, like you never know. But the only difference that I say with the difference of the two is that with trade, there's more of a, hey, let's do an exchange. I have a fascination for this. In order for me to see what you got underneath your hood, what do I have to pay you for your services? Or, whatever the case. With down low, it's more of a thing of, I want to get to know you, but I ain't with all that public display of affection shit. Like, I ain't with all that. I ain't with all trying to have my business out in the open. So, my main thing is that I just want to be able to kind of at least clear up some, terminology of what fish is, what trade is, what DL man, is. And the last thing I want to touch on before I go is that I just want people out there to know, especially in the heterosexual community, that you cannot judge a book by its cover. And what I mean by that, not every person is all the same or in all one boat. How we all came to be, how I came to be as far as the person I am today, liking trans women, as far as heterosexual cis women, as far as liking gay men, how I came to be that person. I had to go through experiences in life, and those experiences was what molded me to be who I am today. So today is how I can stand in my truth, and as far as say, you know, hey, I'm Tristan, I'm a black man first. Next, consider myself to be, you know, bisexual. Some may call me a pansexual because I'm attracted to energy rather than being attracted to gender as far as specifically. So it just all depends on how you perceive as far as what you're looking at. But my thing is that what I want people to take from this, especially people in the heterosexual community, is that you cannot take offense to every single thing that is being thrown your way. Just like with people in the LGBT community, and it works two ways. A lot of times people in the LGBT community takes offense to a lot of things that I feel like is kind of an overkill. And at the end of the day, if your intentions of what you mean, of what you're talking about and what you're saying is pure, then I feel like that there is a moment or opportunity to have a learning experience and open dialogue like I am doing right now with you all to share, to educate, you know, whoever may be confused, you know, about as far as, you know, what all of these terminology means, you know, as far as when it comes to identifying people properly, or, you know, as far as, you know, calling people properly of what they want to be called by. Now, before I go, don't get this twisted. I'm not saying by any way telling you that you have to be accepted with anybody calling you fish, because if that ain't your name, that ain't what you want to be called, then you can gladly let that person know, because respect works two ways. And that's what I've had to learn, is that respect works both ways. So if that's what you don't want to be called, that's fine. But just remember that when it comes back around and you deal with somebody that's of another, you know, may like the same sex, think hard when you start being around people who support as far as calling people faggots and all kind of other stuff, because those words have impact on people that live that life as well. So that's why even though it's kind of hard to associate those two words together as far as, you know, because fish, faggot, that's kind of like two different things, because of the fact that, you know, one is definitely an intentional thing behind it to make it be known that, you know, you're trying to insult the other person, and the other one is more of a compliment, but it's just that it's misinterpreted because people don't know what the fish terminology means or where it, or, you know, as far as originated from. But my takeaway from this is that let's all just respect each other. Let's all just get along and be happy. We got a lot of more stuff to worry about here. Trump is in here messing up, fucking up the church's money, and we don't know we won't be able to see and get out this COVID-19. They up here opening up beaches and everything back in Florida. We got a lot of other stuff to worry about than to be worried about what people as far as got to say about one person to the next. So stay safe out there, my fun sizes. I love you. Until the next video, peace. Subscribe, like, share. Mr. 6'8". Toodles.